So guys, now let's get started about tuple in Python. So first let's read its definition. So a tuple in Python is a immutable, ordered, heterogeneous sequence of elements. And we have understood the meaning of each word in our previous videos. But still let's reiterate them. So, whenever we say something is a sequence, that means indexing applies on that object, all of these operations will work on that object, and that object will be an iterable. That means for loop will run on that object, and all of these built-in functions will work on that object, as well as len method will also work on that object. So, let's understand the syntax of a tuple and now how to create a tuple first. So first let me write down a variable I tuple, and to create a tuple there is a explicit way is that use the parentheses and then write down the different elements inside in this. So when it is a heterogeneous sequence, so we can write down a string inside in it, we can write down a number, float also, and then another tuple, let's say, and then write down a new list inside in it. So any valid object could be a part of this tuple. So as usual, when this is a valid tuple, so we run this first. Yeah. Now, as we know, the important point of any sequence that indexing will apply on that. So let's write down a index. So what will be the index of this 21? 0, 1, right? So let's see that. So we got the 21 back. And then if you want to get back this apple from over here, then again we can use a double indexing. So first we need to reach on this. So tuple, so what's 0, 1, 2, 3, that's on the third index. And then now what will be the index of this apple? So 0 in this tuple, so 0. So we got the apple back. So indexing will be applicable on any tuple because it is a sequence, and all of these operations will work, and we will understand each one of them in a separate video, all of these operation and all of these built-in function when we'll see a new video about a common sequence operations. Now let's see the few important points of a tuple. So one thing is that now we have learned that how to create a tuple in this way, but we can tuple a different ways also. So even if you write, let's create a tuple like this way, 1, 2, 3. So this is also a tuple. See, in the result we got a tuple. So we no need to use a parentheses also to create a tuple, but it's always better in Python to be explicit. So whenever you create a tuple, try to always use parentheses. So that will be a better thing to use that. And then you can create a tuple with a single item also, something like this. So let's say single tuple. Then how do you create that? That's pretty easy. So first you write down, let's say 4. So but when you are writing this alone 4, this is a integer, this is not a tuple. Now to make this 4 as a tuple, you need to add a comma after that. Now it is a tuple. So you can run that, and then when you will run this single item tuple, you will see we got 4 with parentheses back, and if you will see the type of this single tuple, you will see it is a tuple. So now we have learned the other way to create a tuple. And let's go back to our method. So now you will see that in our built-in functions which are applicable on any iterable, we have a tuple built-in function also. So if you will apply this tuple built-in function on any iterable, as all these four data structures are the iterable, so they will return a tuple back. So let's try that. So let's say as tuple, and let's create a string abcd. Now let's apply that built-in function tuple over here, and let's as tuple. You'll see that it has created a tuple. So, and it will be applicable on any item which is a iterable. So even if you want to create a tuple, let's say as list. So tuple, if there is a, let's say, suppose there is a list 144. So as list. Did you see that? So I made a type error. Yeah. Now it is a tuple. Now we know how to create different ways to create a tuple. But there's a most important property of a tuple is about that tuple is a immutable and list is a mutable. So immutable means we cannot add and remove any item from a tuple. So you cannot make a change in a tuple. Tuple will be fixed. Yeah, unlike list. But you must be thinking, then why should I not use list all the time? Why there is a need of a tuple? Because tuple is a immutable object, and whenever you don't have a specific requirement to add and remove or change any item inside in a object, using a mutable object is a better thing, as they are less error prone. Because whenever you use or you write code, there will be errors and there will be bugs. So it's always better to write a code which are less error prone, and using tuple makes that. And we'll understand that part also. I'll show you some example how that happen and which are the use cases of that thing. But whenever you have not a requirement to add a item on change in a object, use a tuple instead of list. But absolutely list contains much more functionality, as we can make changes in a list. So lists are unavoidable, but if you can use a tuple, use a tuple instead of a list. So now let's see the what are the built-in methods or functions are available which are applicable on a tuple. So let's say this I tuple, and the same way as usual apply our dir method on it. So dir, and then let me apply down with a print function. So you see these are all the methods which are applicable on a tuple, and you will see that majority of these are the magic method, which are the Python kind of a built-in methods. They are only count and index, which are again the sequence method. So tuple is kind of a don't have its own method. So this count and index are the sequence operation which are applicable on any sequence, any built-in sequence, I should rather say. So tuple do not have kind of its own methods. And now when we have seen that all of these methods we have, and we're gonna see the majority of them, and we will learn about common sequence operation in our next upcoming videos, that will give you a much more clarity. And one more thing, like tuple will be really useful whenever you will use the functions, because whenever you so we have not covered this particular part, but we'll soon gonna cover up. So as these are the bit advanced functions, so let's write down this test function and write down this args, and then let's print it out this args. Now let's call this function, this test function, and let's write down few variables, so a few arguments. So you will see what this args is happening. This args, if you write it this way, this is creating a tuple. But this part we will learn in a separate video, as this is again a whole new topic about function. So that's way again learning tuple is a useful thing. So my only reason to reveal you this particular part over here, so that you don't skip that tuple, because tuple is a important data structure. It has having it really pretty good importance in Python. So thanks guys, and please subscribe the channel and like this video. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.